watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
Happy Sunday, February 25th. I'm Kimberly Perot, and welcome to Good Morning Vail. In the first hour, I had a conversation with Eyepieces of Vail about all of the incredible offerings that they have in their stores and all of their locations. Plus, we have lots of conversations, and we're visiting with local artists and photographers. So hour one of Good Morning Vail starts right now.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Join us on board the Leadville Railroad Winter Express. Stay cozy in our heated lounge cars. Marvel at the stunning winter landscape. Sip delicious hot chocolate. Don't forget to check out our new specials. Book today at leadvillerailroad.com.
Hi, it's Julio from TV8 Vail. Do you ever wonder why our tagline is "There's more for you on 92"? Because we're always bringing you more. More Good Morning Vail from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. all year long. More local coverage with Vail Vibes and Covered Bridge on TV8. More opportunities to participate with new roundtable panels on mountain perspectives and our new Spanish programming block coming this fall. Find us on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92, on YouTube, or our website at tv8vail.com.
for TV8 in Vail, I'm Avisha Scarborough at the Gerald R. Ford Amphitheater. We'll see you next time. Hi friends, welcome to a little behind the scenes. I'm Avisha Scarborough, and I'm so excited to be part of the team at TV8 in Vail. I love the outdoor lifestyle here, I love the arts and culture, and I love being part of this community. My show is called Vail Vibes with Avisha, where I tell you about all the amazing activities going on here in Vail and surrounding areas all year round.
Good morning, Vail.
Eyepieces of Vail offers a very luxurious and curated collection of goggles and all kinds of eyewear. But on top of that, they also do prescriptions. We love everything that they do. They're such a staple here in the Valley, and we had a conversation all about their products. Let's take a look. I am so excited. I'm Kimberly Perot here, and I am standing here with Tyler Moore of Eyepieces of Vail. How are you, Tyler?
I'm doing great. What about yourself, Kimberly?
You know, I'm loving being out here. I'm loving standing in the middle of all of your goggles. We're here at the famous Goggle Bar.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. We are at the Goggle Bar, and it is such a cool concept and store. We love this store. It's so unique in its appearance and how we can help service you with any of your optical needs. It's not just goggles. We have glasses, sunglasses, prescription, really, you name it, we're able to help you out here.
That's amazing. So we're at the Bridge Street location. So you've got the Goggle Bar here, and we've got quite an array of goggle selection. What do we have in front of us today?
Today, I thought we'd kind of focus on one of our favorite brands, Smith Optics. Definitely kind of like the leader in ski sport optics for sure. So I pulled a few of their models here, a great helmet. Yeah, you know, who doesn't love a good set of goggles?
Absolutely. You know, I'm a Smith girl. I don't mean to plug that, but you may have to convince me otherwise because the impressive array behind us is great. But fun story. I was on the mountain one day. It was super white out, couldn't see it. So I went straight down to the bottom of the slopes and walked in and said I need a pair of goggles, and they gave me a pair of Smiths. Yep. So tell me about them. What do we have here?
You know, we'll start over here on my right here. This is their flagship model. It's called the 4D Mag, and this is a really cool goggle with a lot of interesting tech. Namely, the lens here is going to be the kind of shining star. But you can see here it kind of goes from flat to curved. And this unique toric lens shape allows you to have a lot bigger field of vision without the goggle itself having to be massive. So this is a really cool way to kind of combat how do we keep a goggle you know, that fits a lot of faces, but also has the field of vision of a bigger goggle. You know, and on top of that too, it's one of the easiest to swap out. 1, 2 switches right here, pops right off. Comes with a second lens for those cloudier days. You can pop it right back on, lock it down, and you're on your way.
Looks amazing. I know, I love
Right.
it. So I have a question about this technology in specific. Is this a new shape for this season, for the latest model, or tell me more about it?
It's been around for a couple seasons now, but it works. And it's kind of hard to see, so I would recommend you come in to actually try it on because the difference is quite outstanding. You're not going to, if you feel claustrophobic, like a lot of people do in goggles, this is a great one that kind of gives you that feeling of like no frame around your face, you know, free vision. It really does work.
Amazing. And so we've got some helmets here as well. So tell me a little bit about the helmets.
Cool. Yeah, right here we also have their top of the line model, Nexus. This was released last year. It features a few interesting technologies. Number one, what we always want to see is at least this yellow dot here called MIPS, or a MIPS equivalent. This is better for your brain if you fall down, which happens a lot in skiing.
It does. Can you tell me, what does MIPS stand for? So when someone goes in, they know exactly what they're talking about.
Oh, man. Yeah. So it's a multiple direction impact protection system. So it's quite the mouthful. But pretty much what it is, it's a liner that rotates independently in the helmet that reduces rotational violence of a crash.
Okay.
Because, you know, we don't just crash straight down. We're typically crashing at speed with glancing blows. So this, you know, is supposed to keep your brain in a more forward position and not shaking around in your head as much, which, as we know, is what kind of causes concussions.
Absolutely. Well, helmets are important regardless of your skill level.
Exactly. Yeah. Always wear a helmet, please. You know, even if you're confident in your ability, you shouldn't be confident in other people's ability, you know.
That's exactly right. It's like defensive driving.
Defensive driving, yes, exactly.
Okay, so this is great. So this is also a Smith helmet, and so talk to me about like the pairing. So how do you pair the goggle with the helmet, and like what do you recommend?
For sure. I mean, I recommend what fits your face and your head the best. Mixing and matching, we can do a lot, and the industry has become a lot more standardized in its shapes. But in essence, for Smith, you know, they are designed to work perfectly together. The shape of the brim of the helmet and the shape of the top of the goggle are made to actually give you a nice fit to kind of keep the top of this goggle protected from snow and stuff that would block its ability to vent. So yeah, I mean, Smith on Smith is great, but don't be afraid to kind of mix and match a little. We can find the perfect fit for you.
You got to show off your steez.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a variety of Smith goggles here. Tell me a little bit about some of these others.
Yeah, the others, this is going to be their famous IO mag line. So this is easy interchangeability as well. Everything that we carry in Smith comes with 2 lenses, which we find it's just great. You know, you can look at the weather, see what you're doing, and choose a lens and go from there. But it's easy nowadays. Long gone are like jamming the lens into the frame. There's a little switch right back here, then it just pops right off.
I'm loving this new technology.
It's so easy.
Gone are the days of shoving your lens into a rubber outside.
Yeah, it was always tough. People's thumbs hurt. Dad was always upset when he had to do all 4 kids in the morning. Now the kids can do it themselves.
That's great, and they probably love doing that as well.
Exactly.
So Eyepieces of Vail, you're so unique here in what you do. You've got not only a wide array of goggle selection, but you also can fit people with prescriptions for their goggles specifically. Tell me a little more about that.
We can. So we specialize in prescription, prescription glasses, prescription sunglasses, but also one that you don't see a lot of is prescription goggles. This nifty little thing right here is a godsend for a lot of people. It fits in pretty much any goggle, not just Smith, anything on the back of the wall, we can fit this in, and it just clips in to your goggle like such. It's super easy, simple. We do this with an anti-fog coating too. You know, that's probably the number one thing that people with glasses, when they're putting their goggles over their glasses, deal with. This helps mitigate, that from happening as much. So, great option for those that need to see while you ski.
Yeah, and it really gives a curated fit into the goggle versus your glasses where you've got 2 different angles and shapes on your face.
Correct. It's a lot more comfortable.
Yep.
It performs better, but also it's a lot safer. You don't have to risk falling and breaking your glasses. I have seen people get cut up from when their glasses break. It's a real risk that you're taking when you do that.
And safety is key, especially on the mountain, and you want to look good while you're doing it.
Exactly. We're going to help you perform your best, look your best, be your best.
So if we want to pursue this prescription option within our goggles, how do we do that? You've got a doctor here on site, so tell me all about that.
Correct, yeah. So we do have Dr. G, who's really great to work with. He comes in every Tuesday, Thursdays, both to the Edwards location and our Village Center location here in Vail Village across from Solaris. So he starts in Edwards in the morning and then comes to Vail around 3 o'clock. Appointments typically take about 30 minutes. So you can just give us a call, check availability, and we're happy to book you and get your eyes checked. And, some of these we can even have done same day depending on your prescription.
So it's not just for goggle prescription. You can do a true eye doctor appointment.
Correct. Yeah. And that's if you need glasses, prescription sunglasses, goggles, anything. That'll get you set up, and we'll check your eye health to make sure everything's going well for you, and then send you on your way.
Well, I'll be booking an appointment, that's for sure. So talk to me about operating hours. So you mentioned when he's here. So what are your typical operating hours from a store perspective?
Correct. Yeah, we have 8 locations total, 6 here in Vail Village. And at the moment, pretty much most all of them are running 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Up here at Bridge Street, we start a little earlier because the gondola starts at 8:30. So that's right when we get here too. So we have a lot of convenient locations. Obviously, Bridge Street here, right at the base of Gondola 1, closest retail location. Village Center across from Solaris, which is where the doctor's office is. At Sonnenalp, we have our Eyepieces Sport concept, which is a great little boutique to go into. Lion's Head, if you find yourself over in Lion's Head Village. Beaver Creek, even if you're up over there skiing in Beaver Creek. And then down in Edwards as well. And then if you find yourself over in Roaring Fork Valley, you can find us at Willits next to Whole Foods and at the base of Snowmass at the Viceroy Hotel.
So you really cover the entire Vail Valley, which is wonderful.
Yep.
No excuses. You need to upgrade your goggles this season for sure.
Yeah.
So head over to Eyepieces Vail. Well, thank you so much for talking and telling us everything, Tyler. Are there anything else that we should know if we're coming in to look for the right frame or goggle for our faces?
Just know that we're happy to help you out however we can. Even if you're just having a little troubleshooting and you're not going to buy anything, like, we're just happy to be here and offer any service that we can.
It's great. Well, they offer white glove service here at the Goggle Bar. Make sure that you head over to Eyepieces of Vail. You'll get to chat with Tyler and everyone else here in the store. So lots of exciting things happening. We'll be right back after this.
Good morning, Vail.
Each week on the Tech Show, you can look forward to the latest in technology and how you can use it too. We'll also chat with leading experts, and you'll find out if the latest gadget will take my money or not. Don't miss the Tech Show. Tech your local listings.
Thank you for watching Good Morning Vail. Have an amazing day. Get on out there, soak up that sunshine. We'll see you tomorrow right here for more Good Morning Vail. Bye, everyone. Hi, I'm Gretchen Bleshaw. You might recognize me from the Glitz and Glam with Gretchen. Maybe you hear my voice on the radio from time to time or see me out at a concert or two. I love concerts. If you see me out, the long mermaid hair, I'm almost 6 foot tall. It's hard to miss. Come and say hi, give me a high five, and make sure to watch me right here on TV8.
Hi friends, welcome to Vail Vibes. I'm Avisha Scarborough. Today we're coming to you from the Arabelle Hotel in Vail Square. Did you know this is the only hotel in all of Vail that is literally a stone's throw away from the slopes? And when I say a stone's throw, I'm talking 10 to 20 feet. This is what I call convenience. The gondola just a few steps away, there's on-site après and ski valet. The Arabelle Hotel is full of delights.
Welcome to the Arabelle Ice Rink. You can skate and play, whether you're 5 years old or 55 years old. We have something for everybody here.
This is Brant Marat, the Senior General Manager of the Vail Market. Brant gave me a tour of everything from the spa and salon to the restaurant and coffee shop. There's even a complimentary hot chocolate and pastry cart. Everywhere you go, you feel transported to Europe, from the architecture to one very charming German relic.
This is the only property that has a glockenspiel, and a lot of people don't even know what a glockenspiel is.
I sure don't.
So we have a clock, and there's a king and queen. They do a show multiple times a day. There's 4 buildings. So we have a nice ice rink that's located in the middle with a bridge that goes over it. And everything was created, again, very distinctly and very creatively, where everything is very beautiful, a lot of stone, a lot of original architecture that was brought back from Europe. There's railroad ties in the spa that were from Europe, and it was just so excellently curated where it looks vintage, it looks authentic.
It's a mixed-use property designed with their guests in mind. Brant says their goal was to allow guests to transition seamlessly from one activity to another. And recently, Brant created a new offering ideal for locals.
It's called the Stay and Play package, where locals will be able to come to the property and park at the property, have complimentary inclusive breakfast. Of course, for a small fee, they'll be able to stay here, play all day, have après in the afternoon, and listen to Tim and Taylor play down in the restaurant, and then be able to leave the property. It's going to be a wonderful experience. Because right now a lot of locals have to park in the Lions Head parking structure and then kind of schlep over in their boots and their skis. And this just makes it a lot more convenient and a lot more seamless for them as far as coming and playing on the mountain.
Whether you play hard or play safe, adventure awaits you here at the Arabelle in Lions Head Village.
I would say come over to Lions Head if you want something different.
So dare to be different.
It's going to be a little more quieter, a little more chill, a little more romantic.
This may be exactly what you need. For TV8 in Vail, I'm Avisha Scarborough.
Good morning, Vail.
We appreciate the arts and the fine arts in all kinds of mediums. Gretchen had a conversation with the photographer Milo Gladstein. Let's take a look at that conversation.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. I am very, very thrilled about this. I have a dear friend and photographer extraordinaire, Milo Gladstein. How are you doing, Milo?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's so good to see you. See you in, well, I almost said in real life, but see you over the video,
I know,
best.
we only get to see each other once or twice a year, but it's so good to be here, and thanks for having me.
Of course. So Milo, just so we can let everyone know, Milo and I met years ago. Was it X Games or Do Tour?
I think it was Do Tour at first, and then X Games Do Tour every year after that.
Yeah. And Milo, I know you are very humble, but you are an amazing, phenomenal photographer. How did you get started? I don't even know. This is great for me to find out as a friend as well. How did you get started taking pictures? Because you are insanely talented.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much always had a camera in my hand. I got started in kind of the street photography vein and moved into other things like outdoor sports and things like that, adventure sports, whitewater rafting. I've been a climber for 10 years,
Yeah.
almost. So kind of always been taking out the camera, climbing and stuff. And I'm still a student at Colorado State University and found my way into a media and society class. And they told me about the student newspaper, the Rocky Mountain Collegian.
Yeah.
And the newsroom is in the basement of the student center. And I kind of always joke that I walked into the basement and I never walked out. And here I am all these years later. So
That is brilliant. And you're actually the photo director, right, of the Collegian magazine.
Yeah, so this year I'm co-photo director with my good friend Garrett Mogul. We both took over, so we're running the whole visual side of the paper, which has been an absolute blast, and we have such an incredible staff, and it's been really great to really try to curate the best news possible for the Fort Collins community.
Well, I have to tell you, one of my favorite things, truly, and I'm not just saying this because we're friends, of the X Games, of Do Tour, of all these events that we're so blessed to get to go and hang out together, is seeing your photos behind the scenes at the media tent, because they are insanely amazing. Oh, there we go. There's one of my favorites. Do you want to talk a little bit about the photo?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of for me, being able to go to Do Tour and X Games is kind of a dream come true. I've always loved snowboarding and obsessed over every snowboarding movie as a kid.
Yeah.
And specifically, I mean, this image of Zeb Powell is probably one of my favorites that I've taken. And the first year I applied for Do Tour, I had no intention of getting it as, you know, a kid on student media, and I got the credential and went and just had the best time ever, surrounded by all these incredible athletes who are also incredible people.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd meet, that I just always saw through the computer screen on movies and stuff. And so this image in particular was at X Games this past year, of Zeb on top of right before he dropped in for the Knuckle Huck event. And that was fantastic.
And I have to say about Zed, because you know I got to interview him and I adore him, this is a soft side of him that we're seeing in this photo. You captured a moment, because he is a teddy bear, and not everyone knows that. That captures his like energy, his beauty. He is just a love. I adore him.
Yeah, he's fantastic. This was the image I wanted to walk away with, and happened to have the opportunity on top of the Knuckle Huck, and everything kind of just came together in the middle of a snowstorm. And yeah, it was.
I love it.
Incredible.
All right, I want you to walk us through your photos. Is that cool? And kind of tell us about each one.
Yeah,
Put you on the
absolutely.
spot here. All right, let's do it.
Cool. This one was super fun. This was also from X Games. You know, kind of got a lot of the standard shots, as we call them. We go out and get the safe shots first.
Right.
We know which images need to be published and things like that. And then we kind of go for the more fun stuff. So these were really fun because I laid on the snow with my head against the big air jump kicker, and basically just had to wait and time it based on what all the other photographers were doing. So you could kind of, almost like Formula One, you could see everybody's head snap up and kind of just trying to get it right at that right moment of just the skier framed against the sky, which is incredible.
I dig it. That is so awesome. I love it. Oh, I like this too.
Yeah, this was really fun. This was at night on the Super Pipe, and this was one of the images I've been trying to get for a long time, trying to position myself to frame the riders right in between the two lights with the X Games logo against the black sky.
Oh,
it was one of those like perfect nights that was just clear, I mean, as can be. And was just trying to capture that just raw, super clean, huge method, and was really stoked to be able to capture that.
Are those stars that you can see as well in the background?
I'm not sure.
That's dope. Oh, it's so cool. Milo, I dig it. That's awesome. Right on. I mean, I don't seem shocked because I know you and I get to see these all the time, but these are brilliant. Absolutely. Oh, Burton, we need to send that to our buddies over at Burton. That's dope. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, again, this was really fun. I think this one was at Dew Tour, or maybe X Games. I can't remember actually. But this one was really fun. Just had a really wide angle lens and kind of was actually a lot of these happened to be as I was moving position and the rider happened to kind of pop up over the edge right in front of me.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is also one of my favorites. Just you can feel the size of the pipe and how high the rider is in the air. I mean, I love this photo.
Well, and I should add too, a lot of people don't understand, but Milo, like you get a perspective, and we do as media, to see it in a different way, to see these events, and it's pretty special because the human, everyone else that's going as a spectator really doesn't get to see these kind of moments. I mean, they see them, but in a different way, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really special to kind of be on the pipe, be on the knuckle as these athletes are doing their thing, which is just incredible to watch. And you get a whole other side of things that you would never see otherwise. And it's cool to kind of feel like you're almost part of the action in that sense.
100%. And as we look at some more of your photo, okay, I'm going to totally be quiet because I know you were so stoked about this particular photo. You ran back to the media tent and tell us all about this.
Yeah, so this was actually kind of a coincidence. I think the day before this was at Dew Tour this past year. This is Sylvia. She rides for the German team and has been just an incredible athlete for them for many, many years. And she walked up to me during one of the open practices as I was taking photos and stuff, and was like, "Hey, can you take some photos for me?" And I said, "Sure." And ended up shooting for her for most of Dew Tour this year, which was great. But it was funny because this was another one of kind of just happened to be walking by each other at that time that she snapped her board. And she's like, "Oh, can we do a photo?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have a great idea. Let's go over to the side." And I really wanted to capture her with the broken board and wanted to focus on the broken board, but kind of just with her eyes peeking out and kind of really personality in that.
I love it. I remember when you showed me that and I was like, okay, I have another job for you. You're going to be the new photographer for all the modeling as well, because product placement, man, you're really good at that. I'm impressed.
Well, thank you.
Of course. Oh, what is this one? I dig it.
This one was really fun. This was this kind of goes along the vein of getting safe shots first and then moving into more fun stuff afterwards. This was at round, I believe it was 16 of the Arena Cross Championship in Loveland, Colorado.
Right on.
And this was an assignment I had kind of found for the paper and was like, hey, this is cool. We've never really covered anything in this vein. So went to go cover this, and this was really fun to play with some motion blur shots. And this one came out really, really good. And it took probably a good hour to try to figure out exactly how I wanted this to be, and that the guys flying through the air in the back really adds to that. So
and I want to say too, I know that a lot of people just think, oh, photography, you point your camera. There's so much you've taught me. I've watched you the past couple of years. There's so much more that goes into it, and it's a true form of artwork. I mean, really, you have to have the eye, you have to know the equipment, you have to know the movement, all of it. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. A lot of the time we end up my buddy Garrett and I's joke is we always end up sprawled out on the ground, underneath things of about to get run over all the time. I mean, I've been run over by many different things many times. It's just a blast.
I remember at Dew Tour, you guys, because we love hanging out, and I was with you guys, and I forget what you were shooting, but someone was like, what are they doing? You were on your knees, on your back, and I'm like, those are my homies. They're good. They're doing their thing. Let them be.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We're always kind of in weird positions.
Yeah, but you get the best product, so it works. And that last picture, was that the agricultural food waste story?
Yeah, it was. So this was a really good example of taking a local story and kind of a one-off story and making it, you kind of stumble into things as a journalist that you wouldn't really know about otherwise. So this woman in the photo is Jennifer Seywald, and she owns a local hard cider bar here in Fort Collins.
Right on.
And we just did a quick, we were doing a beer themed edition of the paper, and we did a quick thing about cider for cider versus beer kind of a thing. And in talking to her, she told me all about how she got a grant from the USDA to build a mobile juicing trailer that she now takes all over the state of Colorado and juices what are known as seconds. So this is fruit that would never make it to market if it weren't for Jennifer was doing. It would be thrown in the trash. And so she supports local agriculture through juicing all this fruit that wouldn't make it to market. And she takes that juice and gives it to local distilleries, things like that, and then brings the rest of it back up to Fort Collins, where she distills it into hard cider and then sells it through her company. And she contributes over $1 million back into the Colorado agriculture system every year, single-handedly, basically keeping all of these local farmers in business.
That is amazing. That is so beautiful. And I love that you captured her spirit and her energy in that picture. What a beautiful smile. And you can tell she really loves what she's doing. That's pretty special.
Oh, yeah. She always has a smile on her face. I mean, as
oh, wow. Look at that. Wow. Milo, that's dope.
She's incredible. She's a fantastic woman, and built this company from the ground up all on her own, basically. Started just here in Fort Collins and then expanded to going to farms all over the state. And I'm sure she intends to expand that throughout the country as well, if possible.
How cool. That is so beautiful. I love that. And then I think we have maybe at the end a rodeo picture. Oh, no, I was wrong. We don't. We have another one. No, it's all good. What is this? Well, I know what it is, but who is this?
So this is the bass player for the Psychedelic Porn Crumpets band.
Right
they are an awesome psychedelic rock band out of Australia. They came here to Fort Collins, I think 2 weeks ago now, or a week ago. They just blew the doors off the place. I mean, they sold out our local theater on a Tuesday night, which was awesome.
That's awesome. I love that. I love it. Oh, wow. That's a cool shot.
This is another one from them. They're incredible. That was a blast. I do quite a bit of concert photography around here, shoot for a lot of the local bands, and it's really fun and kind of one of the places I get to be most artistic just because of light and things like that.
And that's perfect, Milo. This is a good transition because I was going to say the difference between your photography when you're doing shows, like going and seeing music versus outdoor nature, is it night and day, right? I'm only assuming.
Yeah, it's a very different thing. I think now that I've settled into shooting concerts, it's become a lot calmer and more of like a familiar kind of almost brain scrub, but also the place that I get to be most artistic.
Cool.
Again, because of all the lights and colors and everything happening, it just is fantastic to be able to just have complete artistic freedom, which is amazing.
I love that. I love that so much. I am so inspired by all of these pictures. And what are you working at present day? Oh, here we go. That's the one.
Yeah, so this is, I threw this image in here to show because this, again, kind of similar to the Peach story. I currently am working on a rodeo story that was born out of a story that was done. I didn't write the original story that this photo was taken for. I did the photos for the story, and it was done about the CSU rodeo team.
Oh, right.
And I grew up about as far away from the sport of rodeo as you possibly can. This was the first interaction I had ever had with anybody in the sport of rodeo, and I took this photo. I actually have it printed and hanging on my wall.
I love it.
But I realized a couple months later that I just couldn't stop thinking about it, and there was more to be done in this world, in the world of Western life and rodeo, and so reached out to one of the contacts I had through taking photos for the story, and ended up being launched into a whole world for the last, I believe it's been 9 months now.
Oh, wow.
And hoping to finish the story up in January for it to run at the National Western Stock Show.
Cool.
And basically following the theme of what does it mean to be a true cowboy.
Nice.
So really, really excited to be kind of wrapping that up in the next couple months.
Milo, you're amazing. How cool. Thank you for taking us through your photo journey, literally, all the things. So I know you're working on that, and I wish we had some more time, but what are you the most stoked coming up to do?
I think right now, just trying to finish school, graduate, figure out my next steps. Obviously, finishing the rodeo project is my main focus right now. I'm really excited for that. And I've kind of branched out more for that. I'm doing photos, writing, and a documentary as well. So
Awesome.
I think that's what I'm most excited about at the moment.
Well, Milo Gladstein, we adore you here on Good Morning Vail. Thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you soon due to our next game's right around the corner.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me, Gretchen. Always great talking to you.
So good seeing you, and we will talk to you again soon. And keep it right
Awesome.
here. We have more Good Morning Vail to come.
Good morning, Vail.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
TV8 te brinda la mejor programación en español todos los días. Sintoniza Conexión Latina los lunes, miércoles y viernes a las 7 de la tarde con repeticiones los fines de semana. Además, te presentamos nuestro nuevo programa Sabores y Creaciones, donde hemos juntado tus recetas y manualidades favoritas en un solo lugar los martes y jueves a las 7 de la tarde. Y por último, disfruta de Daily Flash Latino, con noticias y entretenimiento en tendencia los sábados a las 7 de la tarde. Te esperamos por el canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página de Facebook TV8 Conexión Latina, nuestro canal de YouTube TV8 Vail Good Morning Vail o nuestra página web tv8vail.com.
Well, Archer and I are going to get headed on further down the trail, but I hope you'll catch up with us a little bit later. Hi, I'm Ben Roof, and I'm one of the new hosts here at TV8. I'm so excited to share all of my explorations throughout the Vail Valley with my dog Archer, where we'll be taking you to hiking trails, biking trails, maybe we'll go rafting, fishing, or whatever else we can come up with. I'm so excited to share all of that with you in my new segment, Outdoor Adventures. Don't forget to catch up with us every day right here at TV8 Vail or at tv8vail.com, because there's always more for you on 92.
Learn the latest in science each week and how it relates to everyday life. From space exploration to plant biology to the latest in high-tech advances. Every new scientific development is explored and explained in an understandable way. Amazing stories each week. Watch Science Now.
Do you have an interesting hobby or skill you'd like to share for Vail Valley? We want to hear from you. We're looking for people to share their musical, artistic, culinary, woodworking, athletic, or technical talents on Good Morning Vail. If you'd like to share your talents with the community, email Danielle at tv8vail.com. Join the community conversation. There's more for you on 92.
Join us on board the Leadville Railroad Winter Express. Stay cozy in our heated lounge cars. Marvel at the stunning winter landscape. Sip delicious hot chocolate. Don't forget to check out our new specials. Book today at leadvillerailroad.com.
Good morning, Vail.
It's Artist Spotlight time, and right now we are featuring the artist Devon. You can find his work at the C. Anthony Gallery. Let's head over there and see all of the things that he offers.
My name's Devon, and I come from a line of pop artists that can be traced all the way back to Andy Warhol. I'm the guy that's kind of carrying the torch from that tradition into the 21st century. What inspires me is nostalgia. And just remembering anything from the past makes us feel good, warms our soul. And so I want to leverage familiarity with people. The artwork that I'm doing today is very similar to the way pop art started. I still fundamentally work in the principles of, sourcing my content from pop culture. So there's photographs and there's comics and there's still, advertising and mass media, that kind of a thing. But what I do is I add a few more layers than they did. As a result of being maybe 60 years on, there's a lot of things that have happened between now and then. And so I feel like I want to capture that too. And so I represent the time gap in different layers in my artwork, almost in the way that you would see layers in geology, because there's different seasons and years that have passed. And so you can see little relics of the past. There's a lot of layers in our own psychology that I'm capturing as well. I'm trying to take a flashlight, if you will, and poke it through a tip of an iceberg. And let's call that pop culture. The landscape of pop culture is where I start with a little flashlight and illuminate some of the psychological layers below. I try to explore what it is about pop culture that is captivating our attention in the first place. There's this thing called the collective unconscious, so many people can relate to a lot of these things, and yet each of these people come away with maybe a little bit different interpretation, which is what I call the personal unconscious. So I put little story elements in there, and I'm always surprised at what other people take away as the meaning from it. Most songs and literature and art all kind of have this thread, in general, the hero's journey. A lot of these things bring comfort just in general to see because they've grown up with it or loved it, or they aspire to be that person, which is really what the hero's journey is about, is really we want to be the hero of our own lives. I want to be the hero in my story, don't you? And so if someone is inspired, I certainly am inspired in working with all of these different stories in this content. And if at the end of the day you're inspired by it, that's my goal, is the inspiration behind it. And I'm trying to make it fun. It's like, I love switching it up. Some people think, oh, this is fresh and new. And then I'm like, but it isn't. And it is at the same time. It's like this, I'm still working in this tradition of artists from the past, and yet I'm putting a modern twist on it. But really, I'm just leveraging the past. And maybe through my body of work, you can sort of see, a wider scope of the whole thing. But really, the core is this hero's journey.
It's the fastest half hour in television. Toyota's Race Week takes you inside the high-speed world of NASCAR. Go behind the scenes for a look into the high adrenaline world of motorsports and hear from your favorite drivers as they discuss the drive to a championship. If you love NASCAR, you won't want to miss Toyota's Race Week.
Join us on board the Leadville Railroad Winter Express. Stay cozy in our heated lounge cars. Marvel at the stunning winter landscape. Sip delicious hot chocolate. Don't forget to check out our new specials. Book today at leadvillerailroad.com.
When you're in Vail, you're in vacation mode, and you need a flexible home tour experience that fits into your schedule. We transformed how you view and buy homes in the Vail Valley with immersive cutting-edge technology, you can explore properties 10 times faster. In our lounge, we guide you through this digital world on a 16-foot screen where you can imagine your next home in comparison to your favorite recreational spots. Say goodbye to multi-day home tours and hello to a quick stop between your other plans. That's the power of the Immersion Theater.
I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now! Our independent news hour offers diverse perspectives and unique opinions, often unheard in the mainstream media, live as the news unfolds. Tune in for Democracy Now!, the War and Peace Report, weekday mornings at 9 and evenings at 6 on TV8 Vail, Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on Channel 92.
Learn the latest in science each week and how it relates to everyday life. From space exploration to plant biology. Amazing stories each week. Watch Science Now.
Good morning, Vail.
And we're back at the St. Anthony Gallery, but this time we're looking at photographer David Yarrow and all of the incredible work that he has.
Welcome back to the show. We're standing here in the beautiful St. Anthony Gallery with one of the most collected contemporary photographers in the world, and that's David Yarrow. Thank you so much for being here to chat with you.
It's great to be here. I know it's a very special place, Beaver Creek, and coming here in Vail, we meet so many old friends. So it's not work. It's great fun to come up here.
Well, we love when you come up here, only because your work is so phenomenal. You're taking our galleries by storm right now, and we've got so many incredible pieces around us, but you've really created a brand for yourself. So who is David Yarrow?
David Yarrow is a Scotsman in the late summer of his life, trying finally to make an honest living. He is a father, and my son's with me now, and we collaborate with many great Americans, and it's an honor to work with some of the people that we work with, and it's an honor to work with some of the galleries that we work with. I have been a photographer for probably 30, 40 years. I started taking first paid pictures when I was 17.
Wow.
So when people say you've been an overnight success, I say, well, not really, it's been 40 years. And there've been a lot of bumps on the road. But there's been a constancy and the determination to create art that engages people. And I think maybe my mother was an artist, and I learned a lot from what she got right and a lot what she got wrong. But I think artists should maybe think a little bit more about what the bar is looking for. And we're very focused on what people want rather than what we can necessarily take.
Which I think you do such a great job of capturing all of these incredible pieces, and you've done such a wonderful job throughout your entire career because you have so many different varieties, but you've really been focusing on this theme of the West. So what kind of drew you to the West?
Well, I think Taylor Sheridan's also very focused on the West at the moment with 1883 and the new series. And I think the second half of the 19th century in your country is the greatest story ever told. Partly because of the characters, the character-rich people, and partly because it was played out against the most extraordinary landscapes and backdrops, and Colorado being a case in point because you have these extraordinary canyons, box canyons like Telluride and Creed that we love to film in. So it's a character richness of the second half of the 19th century that allows you, as a storyteller, you've got so much material to play with.
Well, so what helped you discover America West as you were kind of starting this inspiration in all of these great works of art, because we have so many of them around us right now?
I think all artists, they copy, they get ideas from seeing the work of others. I remember when we filmed in Telluride, we were very conscious of the fact that Tarantino shot The Hateful Eight very close to where we're filming. So inevitably, you go and watch it, and you go and watch it again. He himself said that artists tend to have very few original ideas. You get thrown ideas from the things that you see. And I think there is so much potential still. Colorado, Montana, Texas, Wyoming, they're all places that we feel that we haven't really done more than scratch the surface of.
There are some incredible places to shoot here, and we're always so lucky when we have you in our community taking some great pictures. Now, your work has been insanely successful throughout the U.S. Now, you've worked with some very large icons, and so who has been kind of the biggest standout to you and why?
Well, we're photographing with a very big icon next week, but we can't say who it is right now, other than the fact I think New Yorkers are very fond of him. I guess here looking around, I mean, I've worked with Cindy Crawford a lot, and she is a true icon, and my team all think that she is the best of the best in terms of professionalism, charm, the way she treats people, and she's a beautiful person inside as well as out. So it's and when you work with the best like that, it keeps you on the top of your game, which I like to be. But I don't want to go backwards. But we've also worked with a load of people from the world of Hollywood and sport. And, you know, I know Russell's not had the greatest of seasons at the Broncos, but I think there are many people other than Russell that would probably take a bit of responsibility for that. But he's been great to work with as well.
Which is so cool, and it gives you so many wonderful opportunities. Now let's talk a little bit more about the philanthropy side of things, because you are a very large philanthropist and you're very involved with your work, and you make sure your work is very involved with it. So can you give us some more information on that?
I think it just gives an added purpose to what we do. It also allows me to work with people perhaps that I wouldn't get the access to if I just said, here's a project that's purely for financial gain. Whereas we turn around and say, here's a project whereby we could give $1 million back to a pediatric cancer hospital or something like that, I think it encouraged them to get involved in something that's slightly different. I think also for everyone, it doesn't matter whether you're your age or my age, I think contextuality is important. We're very blessed being in a ski resort like this on a beautiful day, but there are people that are far less fortunate than us, and spending time with them, I think, lends contextuality to what you do, and humility. I'm an artist, but I'm a father first and foremost. That's the most important thing for me.
And I loved seeing your son come in with you. You guys both had gigantic smiles on your faces. He's here helping you set up everything.
Because when we're coming through, there was someone giving a critique of the work inside. And they didn't know that the artist was walking past, and they went, "Yeah, the pictures are well, whatever, but the sculptures are really good." So we thought that was very entertaining. And everyone's entitled to a view.
Right. Well, sometimes you catch those right at the right moment, and you get them as you're walking into your own gallery show.
My middle name's going to be whatever now. It's like they're whatever.
Now, you just released a new book, so can you give us some more information about the new book, what people can expect from it, and where people can find it?
Well, hopefully not on eBay from the people that bought it last night, but hopefully you can get it in Barnes & Noble. You can get it obviously on Amazon. You can get it here where it's going to be signed. The proceeds, it's all for charity. You know, books, there's no money in books unless you write about wizards or werewolves or pasta. It's like a nice business card, but if it helps raise money as well. It's a book of stories. I'm a storyteller. And it's just a collection of stories of some of the photographs we've taken.
Which I think is so cool. Now, I do want to ask you, because you are known for selling such incredible pieces of art. You've curated such a collection. Now, you've had pieces sell for up to $100,000. What's next for you?
I'm going to get some sleep. I'm Scottish, and our rugby team have a very important rugby match tomorrow, so I'm going to be scrambling around trying to find somewhere. And I know it's not on here, but we'll find a way to watch that at 8 o'clock. We're always, you know, being an artist is a journey. It's the journey that matters. It's not the final destination. I don't know what I'm going to be photographing in a year's time, but there'll be a journey. I didn't know what I would be photographing last week, a year ago. So, but the key thing is always to be authentic and try and do different stuff. I'm not quite sure where we'll be in 3 months' time, but I know where we'll be in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and we've got some exciting projects in New York next week.
Well, we're excited to see those upcoming projects. Now, if you had to give one piece of advice to a younger David Yarrow right now, what would you say to him?
One piece of advice. I think the most important thing of advice I give to every aspiring photographer is make sure no one can be a bigger critic of your work than yourself. To be really tough on yourself. We're very tough on ourselves. You know, last year, I don't think had a particularly good year creatively. I think maybe I took 4 strong pictures. And this year, I've taken 2 so far this year. So if we can do 5 a year, I see too many people using their website as a sort of photo dump. And they go away for a week to somewhere and they put 100 pictures on the. Are you really saying that every hour you take a picture the world needs to see? That's exceptional. You must be exceptionally talented to do that. So our goal is 5 pictures in a year. And the other thing I think is to read and research. And when I was 20, by the time I was 25, I knew the business model of every relevant contemporary photographer in the world. That was my job, just to understand what they were getting right and what they were getting wrong. Ansel Adams, your most famous photographer, said photography is about the work of others. Learning from the work of others, seeing things you like and things you don't like. Photography is not about a camera, it's about your heart. I think too many people obsess about camera settings and camera manuals. My biggest fear is, you know, one of these events, some camera geek asks me a question about 285 of the manual, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So I'm much more, it's all about your heart and your soul. It's not about the piece of metal in front of you.
Which I think is so important. Now, we've got some great images around us right now and some very well curated images around us. And so can you tell me just a little bit more about what the curation process is like?
Well, if you're in charge of staging a picture, so there's no element of spontaneity, it is beholden on you to have a compositional balance. And if you're trying to use one picture, 1/250th second to tell a story, you've got to make every part of the frame sweat. So you've got to make sure there's no tension points, that every part of the picture has a role to play in telling a story. So if you carefully compose a picture, it's almost like you've got to have a surgeon's eye for detail, which is a long way from where I started photographing sport or skiing, like up here, where it's more spontaneous. You're capturing a moment, but you're taking a picture rather than making a picture. I make pictures, and I'm very unapologetic about that. I think if you're simply taking a picture, there's an extent to which it might not be art, because art does involve a degree of preconception. Whereas if it's just capturing something that happens in front of your camera, there hasn't, by definition, been that preconception. That doesn't mean it can't be a great picture, but the creative process is fairly stunted because there hasn't been a preconception behind it.
Which I think is so cool, and I think it's so incredible to have you here in our community joining us, giving us all this great information. David Yarrow,
You're very kind.
a legend here in Beaver Creek at the C. Anthony Gallery. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and giving us all this great information, and thank you for the inspiration that you carry through all your work.
Bless you. You're very kind. Thank you.
Make sure that you make your way up to the C. Anthony Gallery. You check out his incredible artwork because there are so many amazing pieces throughout our community, and you can definitely find a bunch of them up here at the C. Anthony Gallery. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
Eyepieces of Vail has been a fixture in the Vail community for over 30 years. From designer frames and sunglasses to high-performance sports frames, prescription goggles, and in-demand accessories like helmets, goggle lenses, and foldable reading glasses, our inventory raises the optical bar. Visit one of our 7 locations today and see why generations of loyal customers return time after time for our unmatched service and inventory. Eyepieces, the art of vision.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Hi, it's Max at TV8 Vail. We want to invite you all to the Wacky Winter Reading Program. It's open to all ages. All you have to do is read 10 books or 1,000 pages. For more information, go on our website, tv8vail.com. And thank you to our sponsor, the Eagle Valley Library District.
You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
It is hour 2 of Good Morning Vail. Thank you so much for spending your morning with me. I'm your host, Kimberly Perot, and in this second hour, we're continuing the conversation around arts and entertainment. We have discussions with some film directors as well as local artists. So hour 2 starts right now.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Are you looking for exciting and nutritious recipes to cook at home? Watch Colorful Cooking with Tracy Miller on TV8 Vail. Tracy brings you the best in fresh and healthy foods for the active outdoor lifestyle. Stream online at tv8vail.com or find us on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on 92.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Dog Tales is America's premier dog lovers magazine show. This series is all about dogs and the people who love them. Featuring dogs of all sizes, shapes, and breeds, keeping you up to date with all the latest news from the dog world. Sit back and enjoy a fun program for the whole family. Check your local listings and tune in to Dog Tales.
My name is Tyler Alvarez. I work here at Sweet Basil in Vail. I'm a bartender here. I originally came to Vail to snowboard. I slept on my sister and my cousin's couch for what was supposed to be a week, turned into 2 months, and then I found my own spot, and then kind of made friends and worked different places in the valley and kind of just fell in love with it more and more every single day, and ended up finding my way to Sweet Basil through some friends who worked here and all the great things that I heard about it. And yeah, I've been here for 4 years now. It's hard to wake up in Vail and be upset when you look outside. It's just beautiful. My favorite part about working at Sweet Basil is definitely that I could be proud about everything that we're putting out, whether it's food, drinks. We also get to be really creative here. The bartenders, the whole team here, we workshop our menus every season, so we'll start with a spirit or an ingredient, and then we get to be really creative and make a whole project of it. And then when we get the final product, it's a drink that we're all really proud of for the whole menu, and that's super fun, just being able to be creative and work with new things. And the most fun cocktails to make, though, are definitely the ones that we get to create from scratch. When people take a sip and say, oh my God, this is delicious, or they just love it. And that's probably the most fun for me, the creativity behind it and making unique cocktails. That, for me, that would be the most fun drink to make, just the one that you start from scratch and then people are excited about. I'm Tyler, I live and work in Vail. Come see me at Sweet Basil.
Good morning, Vail.
The St. Anthony Gallery has so many unique artists, and this time we're taking a look at the artist James Jensen.
Beaver Creek is known for so many of the wonderful things that you can do up here. It is a luxury resort. A hidden gem of Beaver Creek, though, is the St. Anthony Gallery. They represent up to 40 artists, and I'm standing here with one of their top artists, James Jensen. James, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Absolutely. Good to be here again.
I love that you're here, only because your work is absolutely fascinating, and your story to your work is fascinating.
They are storytelling pieces. It's true. Each one, they're powerful pieces, but they do take you in, and each one has somewhat of a journey unto itself.
And you have some immense training that you have gone through to get to where you are now. So let's talk a little bit about your history, and then let's talk about what has cultivated these new pieces of yours.
Well, I have to first give credit to Vail Valley and this gallery, because it's been a long time. I was a young artist when I was starting with this gallery family, and that's a leap of faith on their end. So it really goes to show when a gallery gives you the permission to be adventurous and an adventurer in your art, you're in the right place. So I have to preface it by saying Vail Valley gets it, and this gallery has been my support for years. And that leads us to this collection, which is kind of ongoing. My work, I'm restless. So the people who have collected the work, they keep coming back because maybe that new look is new to them also.
Which is amazing. And as you and I have been talking, we've been going through some of the incredible detailing in the pieces. Now, we do want to mention that people can come up here. They can meet you. Yeah. They can spend some time. They can pick your brain, which is one of the most fascinating things that anyone can do. As James and I have been walking around, and I've been asking him all sorts of questions about all of these incredible pieces. So people can come up here from 4 to 8 p.m. and spend some time with you.
Absolutely. The paintings do invite a response. They confront you. And what I want to have happen is for people to stop. A painting should ask you to stop and have some kind of a reaction. That's what we want. It could be shocking. It can be that it's so beautiful, but we want people to have a moment of involvement with each painting. And I think that can happen with these paintings. They really draw you in. There's a sense of depth. There's a sense of fortitude. There's some beautiful, delicate areas that just linger. So the storytelling part goes on and on from when you first witness and then when you're drawn in.
But we've got an incredible piece behind us right now. And so let's talk just a little bit about it, only because you are an expert in realism. Your training is in realism.
It's a good start for an artist. I would always suggest that to an up-and-coming artist. Don't overlook that stage of learning. That's when you learn the science of paint, the weight of compositions, what things battle each other, what things become harmonious. So to be honest, I keep that psychology into these contemporary paintings. They literally have a background, a foreground, and points of priority. For instance, this painting called The Riddle, because it leaves you, I would imagine, asking questions when you see it. What's going on here? What was the artist thinking? And sometimes those are unanswered questions, but what is happening is this, you can see the joy of paint being applied. There's a joyfulness of paint. And then there's an aggressive part too. That's a part of me is to be aggressive with painting, create some chaos, and then let some areas of repose happen. And then the composition comes in, and here I have a piece of realism in an incongruent way, but it's part of why we call this painting the riddle.
Right. It leaves people wondering. It makes people kind of question the art. Now, you've got some new pieces that have just been brought up to the gallery. So let's talk a little bit about those pieces and what was going through your brain as you brought these ones to life.
Okay. Shall I just mention them by name?
Yes.
A painting called Midnight and a Partner Piece Mystery are new pieces. And they're a study in depth, like a disappearing act, where the paintings are literally, with some clever skills, disappearing into this darkness right before your eyes. And they have an impact. They're strong, they've got a beautiful finish on them. And that really is the message there, this painting with a lot of fortitude, and then this diminishing quality that it has.
Which is so unique, and such a powerful emotion can be evoked throughout your paintings.
That is the word for it. It should elicit emotion first. People react differently to colors, and in my case, the fortitude of the paintings, but it should hit there first, emotionally.
Which I think is so important. And then you use these very architectural compounds throughout your pieces that also leave people in this state of curiosity. So let's talk a little bit about that.
There's a few reasons for that. It's kind of my signature, but early in my career, I was just fascinated by architecture. A very simple part of this answer is my love of structure and foundation. I thought, well, how can I bring that into my paintings? They're so chaotic. So I just did it. And it kind of fastens it all together. You get this wild ride of the chaotic part of the painting, and then this kind of rigid structure that brings it all together. I think they vibrate off each other really in a cool way.
I think they do too, because that structure then captivates you into a whole different dynamic of the painting.
Yeah, it does. People ask me, when do you stop? There is a lot going on in these paintings. And that's when you have to trust your own sense of editing, your own sense of composition. A painting can get away from you, and you have to keep your intent, what's in your creative mind's eye, which is what I rely on. And then you trust your skills to see it to the end.
But your skills are very vast, as we've been talking. You're a master of color harmony, so you know when the composition of the colors, bringing in the gold, bringing in a little more texture and definition to the pieces is really going to make that piece captivate the individual who gets to look at it.
Agreed. And that still comes from my training as a classic artist. I still use what we call an old master color palette, which is very warm and welcoming. So I want there to be, other than just strong paintings, there should be beauty and delicate areas you can linger in. That's what keeps it from just being a one-note, hitting you over the head kind of painting. There's beauty in there, there's delicacy, and that makes it livable, and it tells a story. Whatever you feel with these paintings at first glance, it's going to keep delivering that magic throughout its whole career in your house.
Its career in your house. I love that. Now, we've got some fabulous pieces around us that have this very cool ribbon pattern in them that brings the piece to life with almost movement throughout it. So let's talk a little bit about the inspiration behind the ribbon.
That's exactly the word. It's almost a snapshot of something in motion that's caught for just a second. And once again, there's a graphic element, structural. It might not be so linear, but I'm using that to create depth. And if you look closely at those, the weaving is another trick of the artistry, where you have things disappearing and then coming back at you. And that's the ribbons. It's convoluted. It just weaves upon itself.
Which is such a unique element to these very vibrant pieces that you have created for people to enjoy. Now, people can come up here to the C. Anthony Gallery. They can have the opportunity to pick your brain. You'll be here from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
I will, yes, today and tomorrow.
which is amazing. So make sure that you make your way up to the C. Anthony Gallery. It's located right here in the Artist Promenade by the ice skating rink in Beaver Creek. You're not going to want to miss the opportunity to talk to James Jensen.
Welcome aboard! Bobby Laurie and Nikki Noya have your ticket to everything you need for an on-the-go lifestyle. Grab your boarding pass. It's time to jet set.
Coming up this season on Ready, Set, Renovate, real homeowners tackle really big renos.
Welcome to the ugliest house in the neighborhood.
It's a wild ride from before to after.
If we go to the tile store one more time, only one of us is coming out alive.
Well, I didn't know he was going to do all that.
Between the budget and the timeline, it's makeover madness.
Hi there! Are you ready to explore famous neighborhoods from New York City to Kentucky? Watch The Neighborhood with host Nicole Newman. Featuring famous people, unique history, and delicious places to eat and drink. Our viewers get an inside personal look at each neighborhood. With each episode we learn, grow, laugh, and live like a local, not just a visitor. Welcome to The Neighborhood. Check your local program schedule and tune in.
Good morning, Vail.
Now we're transitioning from art to film, and Gretchen had a conversation with the director of the film Dear Rider, the Jake Burton story. Let's take a look.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Gretchen Pleshaw. I am so honored, so thrilled to have the amazing and brilliant director, Fernando Viana, from an incredible, I'm a little emotional, I'm not gonna lie, the incredible story of Jake Burton called Dear Rider. How are you doing, Fernando?
I'm doing great, Gretchen. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I am truly honored. I know I'm already getting a little emotional. Anyone that has already watched this fantastic film knows that Dear Rider is the life of Jake Burton, but I have to be honest with you. I originally went into it thinking, oh, this is just going to be an amazing historical piece about snowboarding and how Jake had this thought of, riding on the snow, surfing on the snow is exactly how he described it, and how snowboarding came to be, but it was so much more than that. I thank you, and it's such a great homage to his life. It's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's as far as the history of snowboarding, it is a history of snowboarding, but told through Jake's eyes.
Yes.
And how he lived his life, but it's also a celebration of his life.
That's what I love so deeply about this is Jake, as you know, something that Fernando and I both have in common is I was blessed enough to cross paths with Jake and be so lucky to get to know the man, the myth, the legend that is Jake Burton. He is one of a kind, as you know, Fernando, and I just feel honored that I got to meet him through the Burton US Open. He was one of the first human beings that believed in me to do interviews. He allowed me to do interviews of all the amazing writers at the Burton US Open, and I love that it shows the quirky, crazy side of him that we all love and know. And it also shows the very driven side of him as well. So it's it's definitely a story about human kindness, finding your truth, living your truth, and also just being happy and struggles and truth of life through cancer, through other things that he went through, the coma, et cetera, which I have to tell you, I never even knew that side of it. So you did an amazing job. And I know a little bit about you. I have a little bit of a backstory. I would love to hear how you got to meet Mr. Jake Burton.
I met Jake once when I interviewed to direct a film, and I got maybe 20 minutes with him, but I had put together a proof of concept that was about like 7-8 minutes long, and thank God I got to show that to him because it was such an emotional moment. I think for him to experience another a filmmaker interpreting his life, interpreting his battle with Miller Fisher in a very kind of short, compressed time. It was great to see him be moved by it, and it just left such a profound impression on me. And I left there not really thinking I was going to get the job, but so grateful for the experience. So grateful to like have the opportunity to show him the proof of concept and to just be able to feel his energy, and he's just such a lovely man. And what I remember the most about that experience is like he tried to make me feel comfortable. A lot of times when you go to an interview, they're like feeling you out, right? But he was like the opposite. He was like, "You okay? Can I get you anything? Are you comfortable? Are you relaxed? Just sit here, sit next to me, that sort of thing." It was different. It was different.
And one thing I love, and I know that you've seen firsthand, is the family, the community. The snowboarding community is such family, and you feel that deeply, and they take you in. And even this morning, someone that is in the movie that is one of Jake Burton's dearest friends that I know misses him very dearly, that you like to call Coxie, Mike Cox, I was messaging with this morning, and it is such a family, and it all started, and it is because of Jake Burton. And it's so profound, and it's felt so deeply throughout your film. And I think that's a side of him, so many people at the Burton US Open that met him loved this larger than life human, but we got to see the funny, dorky, cool side of him. And I know you got to see that firsthand just from one meeting. You said you were forever changed. So that's pretty awesome as well.
For sure. And the family aspect of snowboarding was something that I didn't know about because I'm not a snowboarder. But I loved the community. I loved how it was always a community from the very beginning, and how this Jake's trauma that he suffered when he was young. That he lost family members at a very young age, and this feeling of isolation, this feeling of being lonely, of independence. It's something that I think drove him to form a community, through snowboarding, and I think that is imprinted in the sport to a certain degree. As far as Jake passed before we started making the film, but me and everyone else in the project was committed that he tell the story as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right. To be the narrator of his film, and we tried very, very hard to pull that off. Right. To have him narrate his story, have him take us through the ups and downs, of his career, of his personal life, of his health struggles, and I think by and large we pulled that off, but that was something that was part of the game plan, and have Jake speak for Jake.
Something that really touched me during the film, the story that you did, it was so beautiful. The moments where he was indeed not able to communicate and coming out of the coma, and that he was writing to his friends, his family, and he was still keeping his wit about him. We can't really say the words that he used. Anyone that knows Jake and watches the film will know this exactly what I'm talking about. But he just never lost his love and his lust for life. And that is truly what I think. When you watch this film, you see a man that just had an idea, surfing on snow. That was his passion, his truth. And he taught all of us to live that truth and to truly go out there, live your passion and live it with joy, and not to take life so seriously. But now when you think about that, this man created snowboarding truly out of thin air, and that he did this and lived with such joy and truly lived. It's a pretty amazing. I don't know anyone else like that. I've never met one other human being like him. And I think that's truly what you drive home during this whole film, which is so beautiful.
yeah, have as much fun as possible.
Yes.
And there's some beautiful moments in the film. One of his sons talks about this incident where he gave a little bird mouth to mouth, right?
Yeah.
Try to resuscitate this little bird that had just been attacked by a cat, and he goes, that's when I realized my dad had such an appreciation for life, right? And also like he said he learned more about his dad through the cards that his dad was writing when he couldn't see, when he couldn't move. All he could do was move his hand, and he learned more about his father through those cards than he had his whole life. So I think if you distill it to one word, I would distill it to two words. It's passion and fun, right? It's follow your passion and have as much fun as possible, because we're not going to be here forever. And he that legacy that he taught us, that way of living, I think it's one that I subscribe to now. So
yes,
having as much fun as possible is to me, is a very profound way of looking at life.
I love that. I love it so much. And I love the film because it does give such a good background about snowboarding. And I know, touching base on this a little bit too, Burton is a huge entity. It's huge. It's all around the world. And you learn more about that in the film. So definitely stay tuned. And the highs and lows of that, like we have talked about, it is a beautiful thing. He brought snowboarding to so many human beings that would never, he created the whole concept. Also, many people thought he sold out. So you show the highs and the lows because, this man is seen as a god, the god of snowboarding. But he did go through people kind of giving him some gruff about it, and I love that you showed that. It's not an easy journey for anyone that wants to make a name, but he dealt with it with beauty and grace and kind of just kept on going.
The family, I have to give them all the credit because they said, as long as what you put in the film is accurate, we're not going to tell you to take anything out, right? As long as it's factual, right? And those things happened. I don't want to give anything away so people can watch it in the film, but yeah, he had missteps. He made some missteps, but he was human.
Right.
And I think for people to really connect to a character in a film, really truly connect with them and have a character stay with them, they have to feel like the character is real.
Right.
And nobody's all good and nobody's all bad. So to paint a false portrait of somebody like they're all good or they're all bad, I think it would have been a disservice. But Jake always owned up to everything, and he learned. He was such a quick learner, right? Yeah, he thought snowboarding was going to be downhill. The future of snowboarding, the sport, was going to be downhill races, and he was late. He was late to freestyle, but he made up for it. He was really good at changing course and adjusting. So, and that's really how we get this done, right? Being flexible.
I would like to say the last thing that I truly love about this is you hear Jake's voice throughout the whole film, and it makes you feel connected. I don't want to get emotional. It did make me emotional, so very emotional, both times I watched it, and it's so beautiful. You feel like he's just sitting next to you narrating his life, and it's amazing. And so I just want everyone to know we love Jake. We miss Jake so much, and this is a way to keep him alive. Fernando, where can people go and watch this Dear Writer, the Jake Burton story?
On HBO Max.
HBO Max.
And still streaming. And it's I just wanted to reiterate that it is a celebration of his life, and it is a very joyful kind of message throughout.
Yes.
Yeah, there's tragedy at the heart of it, but the legacy that he left behind is a joyful one, and I think we tried really hard to instill that in the film.
Absolutely. I think the message I took away from it was to live your life to the fullest. We're not guaranteed a long time, but we're here for some time, and Jake definitely did that. He lived his life and truly lived it to the fullest. Thank you so much, Fernando, for being with us. I can't wait to watch it again. Please head over to HBO Max. Watch Dear Writer, the Jake Burton story. Thank you so much again, Fernando, and keep it right here for more to come.
Good morning, Vail.
TV8 te brinda la mejor programación en español todos los días. Sintoniza Conexión Latina los lunes, miércoles y viernes a las 7 de la tarde con repeticiones los fines de semana. Además, te presentamos nuestro nuevo programa Sabores y Creaciones, donde hemos juntado tus recetas y manualidades favoritas en un solo lugar los martes y jueves a las 7 de la tarde. Y por último, disfruta de Daily Flash Latino con noticias y entretenimiento en tendencia los sábados a las 7 de la tarde. Te esperamos por el canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página de Facebook TV8 Conexión Latina, nuestro canal de YouTube TV8 Vail Good Morning Vail o nuestra página web tv8vail.com.
When you're in Vail, you're in vacation mode, and you need a flexible home tour experience that fits into your schedule. We've transformed how you view and buy homes in the Vail Valley. With immersive, cutting-edge technology, you can explore properties 10 times faster. In our lounge, we guide you through this digital world on a 16-foot screen where you can imagine your next home in comparison to your favorite recreational spots. Say goodbye to multi-day home tours and hello to a quick stop between your other plans. That's the power of the immersion theater.
Hi, I'm Ben Belgrad, and I'm the owner of Drinking Vessels here at Bat Country Studios in Minturn. And I've been in the Valley for 7 years. I moved to the Valley because a friend helped me to get my vision off the ground, building my glass studio here, and being so close to snowboarding. So here at the studio, we're acting as a broker for 50 to 100 artists from around the country. We also offer glassblowing classes, and we bring many artists from around the country here to be able to work and create art collaboratively and be so close to skiing and all the activities we have here in the Valley. Here at Drinking Vessels, we specialize in handmade glass drinkware from artists around the country and around the world. Some of these are produced as more of an item you could get in sets and kind of get different color options as time goes on. And some of these are completely one of a kind and really high-end art that's unlike anything people have seen before. While I'm an artist myself here at the studio, I'm representing between 50 and 100 other artists from around the country. And most of these artists are able to spend most of their time working on their art while we help handle their marketing and their sales and the distribution and representation, allowing them more time to focus on their art. That's really my privilege in running this business, is creating that support and providing that platform for this big group of artists that are part of a movement that's very important to me.
Good morning, Vail.
Meet the world's crankiest book.
Go away!
This book does not want to go to story time.
I'm gonna count to 3.
He just wants to be left alone.
Do I have to spell it out for you? Walk away! Keep walking! don't come back!
But when the other books show up for a story,
Wait!
will Cranky change his mind?
I'll consider it.
The charming tale of a very cranky book who may not be so cranky after all.
You ready to meet the world's crankiest book? It's called A Very Cranky Book. Wow. Best-selling husband and wife team, Tony and Angela DiTerlizzi, about their playful, interactive tale, which makes this their first picture book collaboration. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning, James.
So, Angie, where did this idea come from as a cranky book? Are we talking about Tony or somebody else?
What are you talking about?
Perfect book for a Monday. Well, I think A Very Cranky Book began with me feeling slightly cranky as I was maybe trying to come up with an idea for a new story. Sitting in my office, maybe I was thinking about all the Pixar movies I've seen where toys have feelings and fish have feelings and cars have feelings and feelings have feelings. And I looked over at the bookshelf and I wondered to myself, do books have feelings? And what if they feel like they don't want to be read? So that is where the seed for Cranky was born.
So, Tony, how did you two take it a little bit further from the seed?
We kind of discussed what that means. So, I mean, it's great. I think the idea was fantastic from the get-go that she had come up with. But then we were like, all right, if our daughter's cranky, why is she cranky? Or if we are cranky as adults, why are we cranky? And we don't always know. I think, as Ange said, sometimes, in case of Cranky, he just woke up on the wrong side of the bookshelf, And so I think we kind of talked that out. And then we were like, well, what would we want our daughter to know if she was cranky, or when she was cranky? We'd want her to know that we still loved her, that it's just an emotion she's trying to work through, and that's okay. You're allowed to do that. And so I think when we had that breakthrough of, wait a second, there's support and caring on the other side of this emotion, that's the sentiment that we really felt was the final feeling we wanted the reader to feel after they put the book down. And that's always what your goal is with a story. It's like, how do you feel when you close the book, whether you're reading it on your own or mom and dad are reading it to you, or you're reading it at school.
So, Angela, does the cranky book ever get uncranky?
I mean, spoiler alert, maybe a little bit less cranky.
Spoiler alert, okay.
I can't say, I can't say he's gonna shake the feeling 100%, but his friends do help him have a little bit of shift in mindset.
Yeah.
So what do you want our readers to take away from this, reading A Very Cranky Book?
I grew up a reluctant reader. I grew up a reader who had difficulty with reading comprehension and listening comprehension. So for me, the most important thing is I want to create books that create connections. Yeah. Connections to the book, connections to those who are reading or sharing the books with them, and really just to imbue a love of reading and a love of stories. And if I can do that through writing a humorous story about a cranky book, that's my hope.
Yeah.
Tony?
I feel the same way. I mean, I always think humor is amazing. I remember at a very young age, my mom reading, the Winnie the Pooh stories to us kids and laughing at the episodes of the characters, and that shared moment of laughter over a book is very powerful. And so this is the type of story that I feel contains that same magic, that idea that an adult and a child can have a shared experience that's fun over reading. Well, that's gold. That's something you try to attain in writing these stories for young readers.
I've been speaking with best-selling husband and wife team Tony and Angela DiTerlizzi about their new book, A Very Cranky Book. It really sounds like me in the morning when I haven't had my Starbucks, but that's another story. Tony and Angela, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Vail.
For fun and adventure, join me on Elizabeth Stanton's Great Big World. Find out where I'll be going next and which celebrities I'll be bringing along with me. I'll show you amazing destinations with lots to explore, and you'll get to know my celebrity guests the way they really are, up close and personal. We'll travel the world, experience new cultures, and together, try to make a difference. I'm Elizabeth Stanton, saying the world's a big place, and I'm going to show it to you.
Welcome to the Vibe Report with Avisha. This is where I tell you all about the exciting happenings around town. This Saturday and Sunday, there will be live music at Gambit Bar, Shakedown Bar, Park Hyatt Beaver Creek, the Red Lion, the Blue Cow, the Weston Riverfront, and the Revel Lounge at the Hythe. On Saturday, Aritza's Spanish Tapas and Wine in Beaver Creek will have a live flamenco show. Also on Saturday, Chasing Rabbits will have an intimate night of grooves with Trace Mortimer and Monty Kiddo, and House Calls with Rossi at Chasing Rabbits is on Sunday. Also on Saturday night is Cocktails and Clay at the Alpine Arts Center in Edwards. You can join and make ceramic aspen vases, and registration is at alpineartcenter.org. And the sky's the limit when it comes to the Youth Aviation Program. They'll be building a full-size biplane on Saturday at the Eagle County Regional Airport. Check out Eagle Aviators for more info on how to register. That's it for this weekend's Vibe Report, friends. Be sure to follow the Vail Vibes TV8 Instagram for more info, and as always, spread the good vibes.
Eyepieces of Vail has been a fixture in the Vail community for over 30 years. From designer frames and sunglasses to high-performance sports frames, prescription goggles, and in-demand accessories like helmets, goggle lenses, and foldable reading glasses, our inventory raises the optical bar. Visit one of our 7 locations today and see why generations of loyal customers return time after time for our unmatched service and inventory. Eyepieces, the art of vision.
Hi, it's Master TV Vail. We want to invite you all to the Wacky Winter Reading Program. It's open to all ages. All you have to do is read 10 books or 1,000 pages. For more information, go on our website, tv8vail.com. And thank you to our sponsor, the Eagle Valley Library District.
Good morning, Vail.
Now, Julio had a conversation with Francesca Callo, an actor herself, but she gives advice on anybody that is up and coming in the film world. Let's take a look.
On Disney XD, Cartoon Network, or the popular video game Wasteland 3. Joining us today, we have bi-coastal actor, performance capture, voice actress, and ADR director, Francesca Callo. Francesca, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. You have such impressive work. You are an actress, performance capture, you're a director, you do voiceover, you've done work with anime and video games. So I'm just so excited to talk to you about a little bit of everything that you do and what you've got going on. But I'd like to start, Francesca, kind of from the very beginning, because I know that you grew up kind of in film and television sets with your parents. So tell me kind of like about that experience and how that shaped your career, or if that sparked something in you from a young age.
Yeah, I think because both my parents are in the industry. My dad is a director, producer, and writer, and my mom is a production coordinator. And so when I was younger and little, my playground was their sets.
Yeah.
So they would take me on sets all the time. Like the famous story was my mom was working on Batman Forever.
Wow.
And they arranged for me to meet and go on the set, and Val Kilmer was in full Batman costume.
Wow.
I met him and he looked at me and he was like, "Hi, I'm Batman." So it really did spark an interest in me because I grew up around it. I love all aspects of the industry, which is why I do so much in it.
Yeah.
And it's just a great industry to be in, hard. And I saw the struggles that came with it as well.
Right.
And I think that kind of shaped me too, even though knowing that there were struggles along, I still wanted to pursue it and was happy to do that. So it was a great experience growing up on sets.
Yeah, no, that sounds like quite a unique childhood and quite a unique playground, you know, to be on sets of different films and to kind of be around that environment from a very young age. Now, I know, Francesca, that you also kind of started studying different types of performing arts from a very young age. Kind of tell me a little bit about that process of your formation as a performer.
Yeah, so when I was younger, I was very, very shy, and my dad and mom noticed it, so they threw me into acting classes when I was about 7. So I studied at the Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York with some amazing teachers who kind of brought me out of my shell, and then I kept kind of pursuing acting through theater as a medium first. So I studied with the Moscow Art Theater and the Powerhouse Theater, which is in collaboration with New York Stage and Film. So they do a lot of new works and stuff like that. And I just kind of kept pursuing it in theater. And then theater is a great background in general to have as an actor. So I moved from theater into film and television, and then finally into voiceover and performance capture as well.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that you know that you have experience in all sorts of different mediums, different types of performing arts, and that you've done this from a very young age. I think, that's quite impressive that you've been in this for a while. You kind of know the ins and outs of the game. And I want to talk about specifically, obviously you mentioned, you started kind of doing theater, then you transitioned into film and TV, then you're kind of doing more voiceover and stuff. But also I think something that's really interesting is that you do a lot of work around anime and video games. Kind of, how did you get into that, and how has that been for you?
Yeah. So when I was younger, anime was like my Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
So I would watch like Pokemon, and they had this program called Toonami that was on like after school program where they just showed a bunch of different anime. So I grew up kind of watching anime, and I was always interested in it and that kind of culture. And I also played a lot of video games like Zelda, The Ocarina of Time, I think was my first video game with Star Fox on the Nintendo 64. So I was always interested in that world, but I didn't realize that you could actually pursue it as an actor or in that world. And then a friend from college actually introduced me to my voiceover mentor and a great friend named Erica Schroeder, who plays like Eevee and Pokemon and does like a bunch of different animes and cartoons and stuff like that. So I started studying with her, and she got me into the studios in New York. And then funnily enough, during the pandemic, it was actually a crazy time to be a voice actor because everyone was working from home.
Yeah.
So all these doors kind of opened worldwide. So I started working in video games and cartoons in LA and in London and across the world, essentially, and entered into that realm during the pandemic, which was a crazy time to be grateful for work and all that, but I was.
Yeah.
And then I entered into performance capture, which is a big part of the video game world right now. And it's great. It's a wonderful experience because especially performance capture in video games, it's like a culmination of all the work of theater, of film, and of voiceover, just putting everything together and working with your pure imagination. And I love it.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place.
I love that you mentioned performance capture because I actually wanted to ask you about that and kind of tell us what it is and how do you think it kind of differs from regular acting. I think you kind of touched on it. It kind of encompasses all of different elements, but kind of tell me a little bit about performance capture.
Yeah. So performance and motion capture, I think the most famous examples of it are like Andy Serkis as Gollum in Lord of the Rings, or the Planet of the Apes movie, or Avatar.
Yes.
But essentially, you're in like this suit that's like looks like pajamas essentially, and has like little balls on it.
Yeah.
And what's great is that it's basically you have cameras 360, and then you have a camera kind of in your face, so they're capturing all your face motions as well as your body movements.
Yeah.
And in terms of the differences of acting, in particular performing, it's almost like theater in the round because your audience is essentially everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're capturing like the slightest movements. So it's also like you have to be a little bigger than film, but smaller than theater. And then you're also like using your voice as well to create the voice of the character. But what I find fascinating is that it's also just pure imagination because you don't have costumes, you don't really have sets, and for video games, like your props could just be like a Nerf gun,
Right.
or just like a rubber like pool noodle or something like that. And you have to use it as like a means, like use it as a sword or something.
Yeah.
So you don't have the protection of theater or film where you can use your costume or your set to kind of morph your character. It kind of is just pure acting at its finest.
Yep.
And pure imagination, because the sets are just like cardboard boxes or just like ramps. They're not actually built into anything, and you just have to create that world for yourself. And that's both the challenging part of it and the most fascinating part of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're really just utilizing all your tools and utilizing your imagination to the fullest to create these worlds.
I love that. I love, imagination, creativity, and being able to create worlds that are fantastic through the power of technology and performance capture. I think we can do so much nowadays. So I find it fascinating that you were able to kind of delve into that world as well and do such amazing things through your work. Now, Francesca, I want to conclude by asking you, there's a lot of aspiring actors, a lot of young talent. What would you say to those people out there who want to break into the industry? One piece of advice or something you would tell for aspiring actors?
Yeah, well, take acting classes, definitely. Even for things like voiceover, it's voice acting. So you definitely need to continue your studies. And also, I know it's probably said, but it really is a marathon, not a sprint. That there will always be ebbs and flows and doubts, and those will creep in, but you got to keep going. Denzel Washington said it's just, you fall 7 times and pick yourself up 8 times. And that's the only means of moving forward. So just keep going. My mentor always said, dare to fail gloriously, which I love.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Absolutely. Dare to fail gloriously. Francesca, thank you so much for joining us today. I loved hearing a little bit about all the work that you do and all the talents that you were able to share with us today. So I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
Good morning, Vail.
I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now! Our independent news hour offers diverse perspectives and unique opinions, often unheard in the mainstream media, live as the news unfolds. Tune in for Democracy Now!, the War and Peace Report, weekday mornings at 9 and evenings at 6 on TV8 Vail, Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on Channel 92.
Hello, I'm Shervin Rezai here with Chenna Garden in Avon, Colorado. My hobbies are obviously skiing. I've been skiing since I was 3 years old. In addition to that, music's always been my first passion, and you can see that alive and well at Chenna Garden with our little record nook, where we have over 300 records, and we'll continue to grow that collection and play vinyl records for you while you enjoy your cuisine. Chenna Garden is Avon's oldest running restaurant. We've been open since 1988 when my mother set up shop and wanted to begin offering Avon, Colorado the best quality Chinese food that we could get. And I started working in the restaurant when I was 8 years old as a dishwasher, making $1 a day. And then one of the servers, pushed by my dad, told me I should ask for a raise, and then I got $5 a day, but then I had to put all $25 at the end of the week into a savings account, which actually helped me out in college. So after college, I went out to New York for law school, and I spent 15 years out in New York City practicing law and working in-house, which exposed me to a lot of restaurants all over the world, all over the country. And after getting exposure like that, I realized that we have this beautiful restaurant here that has so much potential. So in the fall of 2023, we came back remodeled, and tried to get this back to give that special feel that I've known all my life here. We've been offering a lot of new cuisines, including German cuisine with our good family friend Gunther Schmidt, who's been serving up authentic German cuisine in the Valley for many, many decades. Why not? This is America. We can serve German food in a Chinese restaurant, and we just let it try. And after a year of it, it's been building up some success, and we're just having a lot of fun just seeing the look of bewilderment on every customer when they're like, how am I getting German food in a Chinese restaurant that's this good at this quality? China Garden is really all about that community, and that first starts with the local community. We always try to take care of all of us who are working hard, grinding it, so that we can also enjoy what this valley has to offer. And through that, we get a nice mix of word of mouth, tourists who come in. We're looking for something a little more authentic and that has a history with the valley. I'm a proud member of the Avon Vail Valley community, lifelong member as I was born here, and I hope you come out and see us here at China Garden. We're open every day, 4 to 9, any day the mountain's open. Cheers.
Think Big features top kid inventors who face off against each other to see who can come up with the most innovative and creative invention. In Think Big, kids acquire and showcase their skills in creativity, science, marketing, design, and don't forget, teamwork. Check your local listings and watch the world's most innovative kids. They create and invent new toys, games, websites, and new modes of transportation. Tune in to Think Big. 8-time Emmy-nominated Animal Rescue is a half-hour television series showcasing the heroic efforts of people helping animals. Join host and award-winning journalist Alex Payne and the Animal Rescue camera crew as they travel around the world, capturing dramatic rescues, rehabilitation, and relocation stories. For programming schedule, check your local listings today. Don't miss your favorite episodes of Animal Rescue.
Good morning, Vail.
Now we're at the close of our Sunday morning edition of Good Morning Vail. It is always an honor to spend time with you. I'm Kimberly Perot, and we are wrapping up the film and art edition of our show. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
Are you looking for exciting and nutritious recipes to cook at home? Watch Colorful Cooking with Tracy Miller on TV8 Vail. Tracy brings you the best in fresh and healthy foods for the active outdoor lifestyle. Stream online at tv8vail.com or find us on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on 92.
Join us in exploring the everyday lives of community members here in the Vail Valley. Hear their inspiring stories of how they came here, their contributions to our community, and why they chose to call this place home. We want you to be one of our neighbors. If you would like to be featured or nominate someone to be featured, please send an email to danielle@tv8vail.com. We look forward to featuring your story right here on TV8.
Hi, Hi, I'm Gretchen Pleshaw, host of TV8 Vail. From fashion to food, from film to festivals, experience a unique look at the boutiques, spas, restaurants, and venues that make the Valley so special. Join me for Glitz and Glam. Find it in Good Morning Vail or at our website at tv8vail.com. I can't wait for our next adventure.
You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
Years, the historic TV series Greatest Sports Legends profiled the greatest athletes of the 20th century.
There he goes again.
Join us as we celebrate one of those special seasons. Presenting Greatest Sports Legends, Class of '81.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Rotfeld, and welcome to Greatest Sports Legends. Greatest Sports Legends was a television series on the air from 1974 to 1993. And in those 20 years, we did 206 of the greatest athletes of the 20th century. 1981 was an interesting year because we had two legends who later became bigger than the sports they played. One of them was Billie Jean King, whose stature has only grown over the years as an icon for women. And the other was a guy named Bruce Jenner, who later became a woman named Caitlin.
There's nothing like the Olympic Games. I mean, they're the granddaddy of them all. They are the biggest happening in the world. I mean, they really are. There's the biggest happening in the world politically. It's the biggest happening socially. It's obviously the biggest happening in the world athletically. And it was a little bit awesome because I had never had that before. I mean, I'd never had that exposure or anything like that.
So the first day you had those emotions under control, pretty much?
Yeah, I was hoping I had my emotions under control. You don't know